So my name's Sarah Noon and I'm the dietitian with the Irish Heart Foundation. So a healthy lifestyle and diet is important in terms of maintaining a healthy blood cholesterol level, a healthy blood pressure, and ultimately a healthy heart. So here are my top tips for a heart healthy diet. Achieving and maintaining a healthy weight. So being overweight and particularly carrying excess weight around your middle increases your risk of heart disease and stroke. Eating fish twice a week is part of a heart healthy diet. So fish, especially oily fish, is a great source of omega-3, which helps keep your blood and your heart healthy. Adults should aim to have at least 2 portions of fish, one of which should be oily fish. So that's things like your salmon, your trouts, your mackerel, your sardines, which are important as part of a heart healthy diet. In terms of omega-3 supplements, so they've definitely had a lot of attention in terms of the media, but we don't recommend to have them as the benefits of omega-3 seem to come from eating oily fish themselves. In terms of kind of getting enough fish in the diet, what we know is despite the benefits that most people in Ireland aren't actually getting enough fish in and don't actually meet the recommendations. So it's really important to think about how you can actually get more fish into your diet. And that could be wherever it's kind of adding it into a sandwich. And things like adding in prawns to a salad, flaking salmon through pastas, making a point of even ordering fish when you're out, adding tin fish into things like sandwiches, so your salmon, your mackerel, or even mixing it in with potatoes to make fish cakes. So just really thinking about how you can get in that additional fish to meet your recommendations. So the next thing is including 5 to 7 portions of fruit and veg. So a well-balanced diet should include 5 to 7 portions of your fruit and veg every day as part of a heart healthy diet. So what does a portion actually look like? So a portion is about an apple, a banana, or other similar sized fruits, 3 tablespoons of your vegetables, or a small bowl of your salad. Fruit and vegetables have lots to offer, so the most important thing is getting them in a variety of colours. Fresh, frozen, your tinned, your dried fruit all count towards that 5 to 7 portions of fruit and veg every day. So keeping fruit and veg on hand as a handy snack, throwing some frozen vegetables into things like your stews, your curries, adding salad into your sandwiches, an easy way to get in an extra portion, or even a handful of dried fruit into your breakfast cereal. The next thing to think about is eating more fibre. So 80% of us in Ireland aren't actually meeting the recommendations when it comes to fibre. So fibre is found in carbohydrates such as your wholemeal flour, your breads, your oats, plant-based foods such as your fruit and vegetables, beans and lentils, and is extremely important not only in terms of keeping our digestive systems in good working order, but also what the research has found is that actually an increased fibre in the diet is associated with a lower risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes and cancers. There are 2 main types of fibre, so there's your soluble and insoluble, and each has different effects in terms of your body health. There aren't any specific recommendations in terms of how much of each we should be eating, but it's important to get in a variety of sources. So a variety of whole grains, your beans, your pulses, your fruit, your vegetables, all help you to get the benefits of both your soluble and insoluble fibre. So your soluble fibre is the fibre which is found in the fleshy parts of your fruit and veg, and things like your oats, lentils, beans and pulses. And this type of fibre helps keep your cholesterol levels healthy. So how do I increase fibre in my diet? There's lots of different things you can do. An easy one is checking labels. So if you're buying your ready-made products, so things like your breads, your pastas, your breakfast cereals, just checking the nutritional information on the back of the pack. Ultimately, what you're looking for is a high fibre option, will be more than 6 grams per 100 gram. So that should say on the back of the pack, and you'll be able to tell whether it is a high fibre option. Choosing things like whole grain bread instead of white bread is an easy swap to increase your fibre levels. Choosing your whole grain breakfast cereals, so things like porridge, oats, sweet biscuits or bran flakes. And even to get in a little bit extra fibre in there, things like adding chopped fruit or nuts is an easy way to increase the fibre. Loading up on your fruit and vegetables. So trying to keep chopped fruit and veg on hand as a snack, throwing it in to stews and curries, adding some to your lunchtime salad. Another great way to kind of increase the fibre in your diet. Choosing good quality carbohydrates. So things like having your whole grain or high fibre starchy carbohydrates such as potatoes with skins on, whole wheat pasta, brown rice for your evening meals, bulking out your meals, so adding things like your beans, peas, lentils to soups, curries, stews, salads where possible. Also a great way to get in that extra fibre. It is important if you are increasing your fibre just to increase it gradually, as if you increase it too quickly, it can cause discomfort. And also to ensure to get in enough fluid when you are increasing your fibre levels, as this basically helps fibre to do its job. The next thing I would think about when we're thinking about heart health is swapping your good for your bad fats. So basically swapping your saturated fats, which are found in products like your animal protein, so things like your meat, your full fat dairy produce, so things like butters, coconut oils, and then those trans fats, which are found in your processed foods, for your unsaturated fats, so your mono and polyunsaturated fats. The Mediterranean diet, which is based on long-term research around the best diet for heart health, advocates using unsaturated fats, so basically they're fats found in things like olive oils, rapeseed oil, nuts, seeds, avocados, in place of those other fats. So fats found in things like your processed foods, your butters, your lards. Also, it looks at limiting processed meats such as your hams, your bacon, your sausages, in terms of kind of following the Mediterranean approach. These changes mean a healthier cholesterol and also reduce your risk of heart disease and stroke. The next thing I'd look at in terms of a heart healthy diet is eating less salt and sugar. What we know is that the majority of us in Ireland are eating too much salt. So too much salt we know leads to an increase in blood pressure, high blood pressure, which increases your risk of heart disease and stroke. The maximum daily recommended amount of salt for an adult is about 6 grams, which is about the equivalent of a teaspoon. However, the majority of us in Ireland are having an awful lot more than this. So around 70% of the salt that we consume is actually already in food. So in terms of what we should be looking for is trying to choose options in terms of food that are less than 1.5 grams of salt per 100 gram, which is high, which you should be able to see by looking at the back of the label. The Irish Heart Foundation Food Shopping Card is a really useful tool to be able to tell whether a product is high or low in salt, and you'll be able to find that on our website. When looking at how to reduce down salt, kind of thinking about swapping salt and using alternatives such as herbs, such as black pepper, paprika, or flavorings such as balsamic vinegar to give that extra flavour. And this is particularly important if you already do have a high blood pressure. In terms of too much sugar, what we know is that too much sugar can lead to high triglycerides, which is a bad type of fat in our blood vessels, which is why we should be looking to reduce down concentrated forms of sugar. So kind of sugar found in sugary drinks, biscuits, cakes, and also thinking around fruit juices. So it's recommended to have no more than 1 small glass a day, and it's a lot better to get our fruit from whole fruit rather than juice. If you do want to have treats, just thinking about kind of having them on occasion instead of including them regularly. Finally, the last thing I'd look at in terms of a heart healthy diet would be alcohol. So drinking alcohol within the maximum recommended limits. What we know is that alcohol is high in sugar and calories, and drinking more than the recommended amount can be harmful for your heart. So a bottle of wine is about 550 calories, which is about the equivalent of a burger and fries. The main recommendations when thinking about alcohol would be ensuring that you're having at least 3 alcohol-free days per week, and also keeping below the maximum recommended limits. So for a male, that's 17 standard drinks a week, and for a female, that's 11 standard drinks per week. These aren't targets, they're maximum recommended limits. In terms of what a standard drink actually is, it's about the equivalent of a half pint of beer, a small glass of wine, or a single unit of a spirit. So when it comes to diet and heart health, the most important thing is to actually look at your diet as a whole and what your diet looks like overall. So it's not a single food or nutrient that's going to increase your risk of heart disease and stroke. it's ultimately about gaining the balance on a day-to-day basis.